And we are on. Hey everybody, welcome to the Conversation Stash. I'm your favorite fabulous fairy, and this is Tan Clark, and we are going to be talking about performing today.
Yeah.
So, I'm super happy to have you on here. You do everything you can possibly think of.
I do quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a weird set of skills.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, this guy's bag of tricks is just like, and then it keeps going, and then it keeps going. So, first of all, you kind of brought me something weird. What is this thing that you got me?
I brought you a thing that's called Kinder Joy. These used to be illegal in the United States, but now because what it is, it's a little piece of chocolate, and it has a toy inside of it.
Oh.
And so that was a choking hazard because American kids apparently aren't very smart.
Like, this isn't edible, I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah. So, but what they've done now is instead of putting it in the chocolate, they put the chocolate in one side and the toy in the other side. And so I brought you one.
Hey, I'm so excited. Look at that. Look, if the joy part's real, I'm already there. Cute bag. Oh, ooh. And what is this going on? Okay, so I opened it up, and there is, like, little man.
It's a little scoop spoon thing. And
What?
there's your prize.
How cool. It's giving me, like, a little necklace. That's super cool. And this is interesting.
I'm not exactly sure what that's for, but and then there's your your candies in there.
Oh, I know what it's for. It's because there's extra goodies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Look at this.
That's not what I was expecting at all.
Well, you know what? I think.
Oh, it is. It's like ice cream.
I'm gonna see if I can just. I gotta share with you.
I'll have a little bit here. Ooh, it's got like chocolate on the bottom.
It's really good. It's like a
I just saw this at the store, and I was like, I'm going to do Shane a show.
Have the crunchy.
Oh, okay. Wow, this is very sweet.
They had two, so I mean, one for you, one for me. Like a Ferrero Rocher kind of, huh?
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, little frosting bits there. Wow.
So I have a confession. That is not the kind of prize that you normally get in there.
Oh no!
I stuffed the prize. That's a little necklace that I got for free, and it was like a little you send like $2 or $3 and they give you a random thing.
Okay.
And it was like, I really like this. I have nobody I can give this to. And then I realized I was going to do Shayna's show, and I was like, I like this stuff. So
I love it. Look at the little. Look how cute. Yay! Yep. All right. I'll be honest, it'll probably melt my skin off after a couple hours.
Well, yeah, I don't expect you to wear it for very long.
But I'll wear it for the show,
I thought you'd get a kick out of just getting it.
I do. I think that's cute. And it's even my birthstone color, so that's fun.
Bonus. There we go.
Bonus. He's like, oh, I meant to do that. Hey, and that looks nice, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit sparkly. Okay, so let's get on with the show here. I wanted to know, what made you want to start performing? Like, what age was it that you thought, oh, wow, I like being the center of attention?
I have been performing since I was a little kid. I got together with my friends, and we did, like, they had a bunch of these little tiny, not very politically sensitive, but they were little Indians, little Native American figures and stuff. And so I got together with a bunch of my friends, and we did this silly little show with the Native Americans.
Like a puppet show almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice.
And it was, gosh, I was 8, I want to say. And I just did it for my family and friends and their family and friends, and everybody just really, really had a fun time with it. And it was just, I think every artist and performer inside is a little bit insecure. Jerry Lewis said that the reason that you perform on stage is because you look out in there and there's 200 or 300 mommies and daddies saying "attaboy."
Oh, okay.
You know? So, and that's really kind of the basis of a lot of people's performances. And that's kind of where I came from, too. I started when I was a little kid, and I just got into doing all kinds of stuff. Like I made puppets out of paper and things like that, and I'm making puppets now, and just doing all kinds of stuff. I started getting into music when I was in school. And I really got into performing then. I was one of the top euphonium players in Texas.
What's a euphonium?
A euphonium is like a little baby tuba.
A little baby tuba.
Yeah, you know, you've seen these little, you've seen them before in marching bands. They look like tubas, but you can just hold it. It's like you cradle it in your arms. It's a baby tuba.
That was definitely something new. I had no idea that existed in life.
And it's also called a baritone or euphonium. Yeah, so.
Wow, that's really cool.
And so I just kind of I went for a long time without doing anything because I just, kind of got out of the habit. And then I started doing Hobbs Grove.
Okay.
I was working, yeah, doing stuff in. I was making props for movies in Hollywood. Some of the props that I worked on were in Men in Black and Babylon 5.
What were you making?
Stuff. I was making ray guns and little instruments and stuff like that.
That's
all kinds of
epic.
things.
So like when you see those cool guns in movies, those aren't actually guns; those are props.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if they're like ray guns and stuff like that, I
Well,
did
definitely a ray
yeah.
gun would be a prop. But.
Yeah, I did science fiction guns like that. In fact, in Men in Black, in the pawn shop when all the things flipped down, about a third of those were guns that I worked on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah.
That is so epic! Oh my gosh, I love Men in Black. Who doesn't love that?
Mm-hmm. We sold a bunch of those to this place called Modern Props, it was in El Monte at the time, down in L.A. And but what they do is they just keep them and they rent them out to people. So we'll still see them in commercials and TV shows and stuff like that nowadays.
That is so cool. So what are some other, you said you worked on Men in Black.
Men in Black, Babylon 5, had a couple of them that were used in Star Trek, Galaxy Quest.
What?
That was a good one.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so epic. These are like some of my favorite movies. He's just like, oh, yep, did it, done that. I absolutely love it.
So that was behind the scenes that did that. And, there was my wife, Kishma, who you knew.
Yeah.
She knew somebody through her belly dancing class that we had never heard of before. But the belly dancing teacher said, you got to get together with you because she would be perfect. You guys would have a lot to talk about. And it ended up being Lore, who was running Satterstrom's Haunted Forest at the time.
Yeah.
And she heard that we did props and stuff in LA and all this stuff, and so she wanted us to come and take a look at her haunt.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, this is going to be stupid, but that's okay. We'll humor her. We'll go down there. We went down there. We were blown away. That place was amazing because they were doing the most amazing stuff with just the crappiest props you ever saw. They were taking
it's this place of magic for sure.
Yeah. But they were taking like old farm implements and stuff like that, and they were making them into these really scary things. And I thought it was really amazing that they were doing so much with so little.
Yeah.
And we just kind of fell in love with the place and said, could we come work here?
Seems like this is a good place to set up shop and expand our talents.
And she's like, well, yeah. And so we came down the next year and we worked there.
So how long have you been doing that?
That was 1995, so that would be 23 years.
Wow, yeah. I just turned 30. I'm like, I also work at Hobbs Grove.
7.
I started working at Hobbs Grove when I was 15. This will be my 15th year. So, like, I literally, half of my life, I've been working there, but you've been doing it since before I even realized it was a blip on the map of something you could do.
When you were 7.
When I was 7, I think the year I was 7, I was Medusa. And I had made like paper mache hat, and I had gotten some like ugly green moo from.
Notice the word was made. 7 years old, she made that.
Yeah, I like to make stuff, and it got this like moo that was green, and I made like myself a dress out of it that was like Medusa-y. I don't know, it was great.
That's awesome.
So, how many kinds of ways do you perform? I know it's not just one thing. I mean, I
do stage acting. I've done some film acting. In fact, the movie that I was in last year is due to come out any time now. They're doing the final little steps on it.
Oh, wow.
And they're probably going to have a premiere down in LA. It's not going to be a big movie, but hope it's going to be pretty fun.
What is it called?
It's called Impact Event.
Okay.
And I play the big bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you as a bad guy.
I put on my big, broad Texas accent, and I played the big bad guy. He's called the Omega Man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
So I do that. I do magic. I do haunt acting, which is really, it's its own own breed of cat.
It really is.
I do voice acting. I've done audio books, which is kind of like voice acting, except you read the narration at the same time. I've done stage acting. I think I mentioned that. That was my big thing for a while, was stage acting. I still hope to stay into that, but...
And you do that at Ridley Opera House, don't you?
Yep, with the River City Theater Company.
River City Theater Company. If you've never been to that, oh my gosh, let me tell you.
It's a beautiful little place.
It is a beautiful place. It is not a huge venue, but you don't want it like that. This is very, very intimate. You're not very far away from the stage. They have dinner nights, or they have just performance nights. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. You really feel like you're involved. And when you do go on the food nights, I'll tell you, the food there is, it's epic. It really is. They've got the best food, best desserts. It's so great.
The little stage there is about a third the size of like your stage that you see like at the high school or you know, a regular size stage. It's about a third of the size, and you're never more than 60 feet away from the stage.
But you pack so much into it.
Oh yeah, we do big quality shows. We did Les Miserables a few years ago. We did Sweeney Todd, which
I was there for. I saw that. That was great.
You never stopped making fun of the terrible singing in that.
Oh my gosh! It wasn't that it was terrible singing. It's that when you're
weird.
At the point in time, like we were staying in the same house, and I could hear Sweeney Todd at any point of the day or night, and it was like Sweeney, 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 Sweeney. They get like, because it's the stage performance, so they get really into it. So just by the end, you're dreaming of razors. You're just like, okay, cut me, man. I'm ready. I'm ready. Take me home. I don't care. Turn me into a pie.
I was super happy to play I played the bad guy in that one too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I loved that. He was the judge, and that was, let me tell you, there were some parts where that judge is pretty creepy. And he took it to the fullest that you can take it, and you got the vibe across the stage. I'm like, if I didn't already know you as a person, I would have problems with this. It was very, very well done. So if you're
so much fun,
if you're in Reedley, you know, check out the Reedley Opera House, because that place, every performance is perfect. So you also teach. What are you teaching?
I teach art and music 1st through 5th grade.
Oh wow, how is that going?
Oh, I love it. I wish I'd have done it 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just get to mold young minds and give them some hope that the creativity isn't dead.
Yeah, that was sort of my goal. See, when I was in high school, I had a band director who he conducted the band kind of like the football team. And in that he was very competition oriented, and everybody's got to, you know, do your scales, and you got, you know, he basically ran us through this little regimen, just like a football team. And he just sucked all the joy out of art and out of music, to the point where as soon as I graduated, I didn't touch a musical instrument for like 20 years.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with a drama teacher. I understand that.
And so my goal is to just not be that person. I wanted to make these kids really enjoy art and music, you know.
They can express themselves with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, well, it's not really about molding the next, you know, big star or whatever. It's about exposing kids to music, telling kids, this is music, you know, there are different kinds of music. It's not just, you know, One Direction on the radio or whatever, you know. And
is that music?
Yeah, it is, actually.
I don't even.
It's a kind of music.
It's a kind of music.
No,
so is the cowbell.
Yeah. The triangle.
The triangle, yeah.
Well, I teach flutophones, which is like a recorder.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And we teach choral music, which is teaching kids to sing. And we do exercises and stuff like that, you know. We do the moo, moo, and I tell little kids to put the little invisible Fruit Loop in their lips so they go, ooh. Yep.
Yeah.
There's all that stuff. And lately we've just been doing art.
Nice.
And we've been teaching different artists like every 2 or 3 weeks. Right now we're teaching kids about M.C. Escher.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Oh, you totally know his art.
Okay.
Remember in Labyrinth?
Yes. Oh, he's the guy who does the upside down and the...
Yep.
Oh,
that's
my
MC
gosh,
Escher.
I can't believe Yes, you're right.
And it was so much fun to blow the little kids' minds with just showing him their art, showing them his art, and just going, now, look, they're walking around in a circle and they're going upstairs, but they're ending up where they started. How does that work? And watching little kids just go...
Right. I'm going to have to clean that up off the wall. It's okay.
It is so much fun. I love teaching... I mean, we taught Claude Monet and Mary Cassatt, all these impressionist painters and stuff like that. Just the driest crap in the world.
But you can make it fun.
But you make it fun for little kids. You know, we taught kids that Claude Monet, he was, everybody else was painting these perfect little portraits and you know, where you would have to stand there for 5 days and things like that. And Claude Monet would just come up and go... There, that's you. And it was really good.
That's epic.
And people hated it because it wasn't the art that they were used to.
Well, that's how everything is, though, right?
At first, yeah.
finds a little bit of resistance if it's worth it.
Yep.
I have a question now. Are you available for private classes, or are you that mostly like you're in the school system and that's where they got to find you kind of thing?
I'm in the school system. I teach up in Dunlap, which is way up in the mountains. To the let me think about it.
Let me think about it.
To the northeast of Reedley, so sort of east of Fresno.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it's just up there in the mountains, halfway to Yosemite.
Oh,
it's
wow.
A beautiful little area. Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to have a little place up there, then that is where you will find this man.
Yep. And I don't do private teaching, but I guess I could. I just never actually thought about it. But yeah, I think that would be fun. Like I said, I do 1st through 5th grade, so I don't do anything super advanced,
Well, honestly, I don't know. Just from what I've seen of your work personally, I know that you have no limitations. So if somebody if you're looking for this guy, he says he's up for it. He doesn't do it yet, but I'll be his manager. I'll come with a good price for that. So
well, I've discovered that.
Pulling you out. No, I'm just kidding.
I've discovered that anything that I want to do, that I want to learn how to do, you can just go to YouTube, put in that thing and tutorial, and just waste a half a day.
I believe in that, but I do think that some people are so hands-on that they require that little bit of hands-on there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are A to B people, some people are A to Z people. I'm A through Z and then start adding numbers to it like you are. But so if you can work with somebody who's 1st through 5th grade, I'm sure that anybody you would be able to work with.
I love teaching. It's just one of those things. It's like I had no idea. A few years ago, if you'd have said you'd be a really good teacher, I'd be like, yeah, right.
Because your idea of what teachers are was kind of.
Well, and then I ended up tripping over myself and becoming a teacher.
Well,
I applied for. There was a job opening, and I have a couple of friends who were this variety of teacher, and they said you'd be really good at that. And I was like, okay, I'll go try out for it. And so I went and I did the interview, and they're like, wow, you've got a really good set of skills for this. I was like, okay, well, let's give it a try. I'll try it for a year and see how I like it.
And it's stuck.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I love it so much. That's great. I actually, I do face painting, and I was at the haunted house he was talking about, and I was doing face painting in the daytime, and this little girl came up, and she's all like, I'm excited. We're coming back tonight. My teacher works here. And I was like, oh, who's your teacher? And she's all, Mr. Clark. And I was like, Mr. Clark? And I was like, oh, I know who that is. And she's like, he's the best teacher ever. And I was like, oh, that's great. I did a little fairy face or whatever. It was great. Awesome. So you said you do magic. What kind of magic do you do?
Well, I do stage magic. I did a big stage show out there at Hobbs Grove for a couple of years. That was a lot of fun.
What did that have in it?
Let's see. I did needle through the arm, and I did a mentalism trick where you write down something on a card and you put it in an envelope and I burn it and I tell you what was on it.
So you...
Yep.
Yeah, you will have pizza tonight. How did you know?
And let's see. I did that. I did the sword through the neck trick, where you put this big harness on and you stick the swords and they go right through the neck. It's really pretty fun.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, I should have told you brought some magic tricks with you.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. Magic tricks even. And
I happen to know that she does some magic too.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then, so you are working on puppets. What is this puppet thing?
I kind of, again, I sort of, well, this was sort of inspired by you in a way.
Thank you.
I decided I wanted to do like some kind of show on YouTube. And I looked around at people who were doing their own kind of thing like you're doing. And I was like, and it wasn't like, oh, if Shayna can do it, I can do it. No, it was like,
hey, that's a good, if I can do it, you can do it. Seriously.
Shayna does anything she feels like doing. And she's like, you know what? Today I'm going to do magic. And she just teaches herself how to do it. And it's amazing, And I've watched her many times. She is so creative. I watched her set up her clothing dummy. And then I'll sit there and I'll watch a movie and I'll turn around and, oh, crap, there's a dress. We were talking about suddenly salad. It's like suddenly dress.
That's suddenly salad.
Suddenly fashion.
I don't know if you guys ever heard suddenly salad, but this guy, I made some the other day even, and I'm still laughing about that. Because I asked him, oh, hey, Tan, you want some suddenly salad? He's like, yeah, sure, I'm pretty hungry. And I said, well, it takes a half hour to boil the water, and then I got to make the noodles, and then it's got to be mixed up, and then it's got to be chilled for an hour. So in about an hour and a half, you can have some. He's all...
What's suddenly about that? There's nothing sudden about this.
He's all suddenly realized you're not getting your damn salad.
For an hour and a half. I told her I'm going to call bullshit unless I walk into the kitchen. I'm like, whoa, where'd all this salad come from?
It was great. I made it.
Salad.
I made it at the beginning of the month, and I'm sitting there. I'm laughing. My stepdad's all, "What are you laughing about?" And I'm all, "You suddenly realize you don't get your salad for a half a freaking hour." And I was like, "What?" Hi.
Hey, what's up, Brooke?
Hey, Brooke. How are you? Yeah. So that's Suddenly Salad. Good Lord. So Suddenly Puppets. So what is going to be the premise of your puppet show?
So I'm writing it now, and I have to build 14 puppets.
14 puppets.
I was going to do it with just little puppets you can buy in the store, but then I realized those are sort of copyrighted.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to monetize it, I couldn't do that because I'm using other people's stuff.
Okay,
basically.
That makes sense.
So I have to make my own. So then I was like, oh, well, now I have to go and learn how to make puppets, right? So then I started learning how to make puppets. I bought a sewing machine because of you again.
Thank you.
Because I was like, you know what? Shayna does this all the time. She just like throws stuff together, and you've had like however many dozen years of experience, right? And I was like, well, if Shayna can do it, I can learn how to do it, I think. So, you sort of inspired me to just, if I can imagine it, I can do it. And so that's what I started doing. That's
hilarious that you say I'm the one that inspired you to do that, because literally at my time living in your house, like, I learned that from you. I mean, I've always kind of been like that, but then there's things that I don't think about making because I didn't know about latex. I didn't know about fiberglass. I didn't know about, all this different stuff that you're like, oh, you just take this and this. And so you kind of have that outlook on, the guns and the props and the weapons and there's certain aspects of costuming and different things like that. So honestly, you kind of remotivated me that, oh yeah, I can make anything I want. I just have to think about whatever it is. If I can picture it, I can make it. So it's basically we mirror each other on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're both that talented person that just can kind of like, oh, I need this. There you go.
Good creative folks will do that, You start working off of one another. One person does one aspect, another person does another, and it just works out.
Well, even your Sweeney Todd razor blades. You made those by hand. Now, let me tell you, they were beautiful when they came out, and they were all decorated, and they looked very beautiful, very professional. He made the box they sat in, the whole entire, the whole thing. And so when you're on stage and you're looking at that, you have no doubt that it's a real razor blade, and little do you know, it started off as a piece of sheet metal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and we wanted to get razor blades that we could have just taken our regular straight razor and dulled it, but a lot of people have done that and then don't do a very good job, and then people end up getting hurt. Like that happened a couple of times, I think, in New Zealand. There's a couple of productions that people were getting their throats cut because somebody just, I'll just put some duct tape on it, it'll be fine. It's not fine.
Yeah, it's not fine. Eventually it cuts through,
No, I made these things, they looked really good, but you'd have to hit somebody with it to hurt them.
Yeah, it was completely flat. It was absolutely perfect. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I gotta ask, so what is the hardest part about performing?
I think the hardest part is having confidence in yourself. Not just in, I have confidence to get up in front of all these people. That's one hurdle of it. But the other aspect is having confidence that you know what you're doing, and you don't have to think about it so hard. You've already done all the thinking. You've already done all the work. Most of the performing I do is rehearsed.
Yeah.
So you've already put the work into it. Go out there and you know what to do. Just go out and have fun. Enjoy doing it,
That's cool.
And don't forget, and this is something that I learned with a bunch of haunt actors, because haunt acting is its own breed of cat, It's very different from stage acting and all that. It has a lot of things in common with it, of course. But haunt acting, you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're trying to get an extreme reaction out of somebody.
True.
If you're on the stage, you don't want to get, for the most part, you don't want to do a performance that makes people go, ugh, or oh, wow, yeah. You're not looking for extremes from these people, but with haunt acting, you are. And I think the most important thing for a haunt actor, and any performer really, to remember is you are first and foremost an entertainer. That's what your job is. That's what you're there to do. You're there to help people feel things they don't normally feel, think about things in ways they don't normally think about them. And that's really the crux of it. That's the toughest part, is remembering that that's what your job is. Because a lot of people get out there, okay, my job is to stand here and to wear this thing that people gave me and to say my lines and not forget it and not screw it up and not, make sure that this other person who can say their lines, and you get caught up in the mechanics of it and you forget that there's feelings and there's people behind it. So that's the important part. That's the part that I still have problems with that. I get caught up in the mechanics and I forget, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm supposed to be having fun. I'm supposed to be a funny guy, because, that's sort of the kind of haunt actor I am. If I'm not creeping you out, I want to make you laugh, because you're still getting this. Though there's a real fine line between terror and laughter, and that's why I think that's what we play along that line there at Hobbs Grove, and I think that's why we're so successful.
I feel like that's actually pretty right on. Actually, you jump out and your person and maybe you're creepy looking or maybe you're whatever, but whether you get the laugh or whether you get the scream, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And even if you made somebody else scream and it made everybody else laugh, it doesn't matter. Like they were paid to be entertained, they were entertained, and you don't have to push it to, you're pushing yourself to your extreme, but you don't have to push it to the extreme that you feel that, oh, if I didn't get this exact reaction, I was wrong, or if I didn't get this exact reaction, maybe it was, it's like it's all good. It really is all good, as long as they're entertained.
We've had a lot of performers that we've kind of had to let go because they were more into it sort of to work their own psychological crap rather than to entertain people. And it's like, I've been involved in the hiring process out at Hobbs Grove for, 16, 17 years. And we let go a lot of people who, other than their attitude, would be pretty good haunt actors. They've got good skills, they've got really good makeup and stuff like that, but they come in and they're like, yeah, I love scaring people and I want to mess people up. It's like, okay, pass.
Yeah, I want you to be psychologically scarred.
Yeah,
leave. It's like, okay, well, people didn't come here for that.
there is this haunt up in, I don't remember exactly where it was, but I think it was in Chicago or someplace like that, way up north. And the guy was very proud that he was broadcasting commercials from Canada where you can say the F word. And so he was saying, we were very proud of the fact that we were saying, we're not just going to scare you, we're going to fuck you up for life. And I'm like, really? What's fun about that?
Yeah, that doesn't make me say, oh, let's sign up for that.
Yeah, tell me. Well, first of all, thank you for losing every other haunter a customer. Because if you got somebody who comes in there like, yeah, I went to that place and it was really messed up. I didn't like it. And I'm never going to another one of those again.
Yeah.
Thank you for losing me a customer.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas people come to Hobbs Grove and they go, wow, that was really a lot of fun. That was really cool. I want to go see what this other place is like. I want to see if they're as good. And maybe they're not. Maybe they are. There's no competition when it comes to performance. As far as I'm concerned, there's no competition if you've got people who are good. Because
there's no competition anyways, because there's always going to be the people who are like local, and there's always going to be the people who like to travel, and there's always going to be the word of mouth. And I feel like, okay, like I started doing the escape rooms and I liked one, so now we do all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if we had that bad experience with that first one, we probably wouldn't have continued.
Yeah, you'd go, these suck. I don't like these.
Yeah, and we did have a bad experience like 3 times in at this one place we went to, and I was really happy when we left. I actually said, I'm really glad this wasn't our first experience, because I would have never done it again. So it's sad that people take it to those extremes where they push you something good that could be good and they push it into the negative.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your voice acting. So what is that about?
Well, I as a little kid, I always liked listening to other people's voices and mimicking them and stuff like that. I always liked doing accents and stuff like that.
Who can you do? What do you got?
Oh, well, for the ones that I do kind of semi-famously is we do our Hobbs Grove commercials here in Central California. And we do radio commercials, and I always do Sean Connery and Christopher Walken.
Oh, nice.
And we perform them like they're like an old married couple, basically. They're just like old friends, but they know each other, and they tease each other and stuff. And so Sean Connery's always like this. He's like, what are you so afraid of? Why don't you just man up, Junior? And Christopher Walken's like, but that place, that's so scary. I don't know. I don't want to go there.
I love it. That was perfect. I love Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken, shout out. Meet you one day. Shake your hand. He's
but,
scary as beep, but he's awesome.
Yeah, well, the awesome overcomes the scary.
Yeah, the awesome totally does overcome the scary.
He was a lion tamer. Did you know that?
I wouldn't. That doesn't surprise me.
There's
that does not.
You can
surprise
find pictures
me.
of him like a 19-year-old Chris Walken. He's with no shirt and abs and everything, and he's just like,
wow. I'm gonna have to find that picture.
It's pretty impressive.
That sounds pretty impressive.
But yeah, I do that, and I started getting into. I wanted to do voiceovers for like cartoons and stuff like that. But I live in the Central Valley. Nobody makes cartoons here. At least nobody that I know of. If you make cartoons, I do voices.
There you go. Right.
But I started instead. I found this website called acx.com.
Okay.
It is the backdoor to audible.com. It's the production side of audible.com.
Okay.
And you can, if you have a good reading voice, if you have a good voice, and if you have some acting chops, you can make pretty decent money reading other people's books.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I started doing that. And the funniest part is, I did a werewolf story.
Okay.
And it was pretty neat, but it was a little bit steamy. It was a gay werewolf. Romance. Romance. It was porn, basically. But it was, it was like one scene of porn and the rest of it was story. So, so that makes it legit.
Yeah.
So I do this gay werewolf story, and then suddenly I get like these 3 or 4 other offers. I was like, I have this werewolf story. I would like you to read it too. And I was like, what? Do I have the perfect voice for gay werewolf?
Hey, whatever works. So you've done a few gay werewolf.
Yep, I've done 4 of them
novels.
So far.
4.
Yep.
Can we get some names? What if somebody wants to listen to you?
Oh gosh, I don't know the names. I'd have to. You can look me up on audible.com. You can look for my legal name, which is Robert M. Clark.
Nice.
And if you want to look that up, then hey, thank you, Brooke. If you want to look that up, then you can hear some samples of what I sound like, and you can buy the books. And
so Robert M. Clark on Audible, okay?
Yep. Audible.com. Look for narrator Robert M. Clark.
So that's really cool. You just look up who narrates it. That's epic. Oh my god.
And you can get involved in it too if you want to. This is not a paid endorsement or anything.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying go
sponsored.
Go to acx.com and you can start auditioning for books and start making a little bit of money.
Actually, I have one friend named Matt. Matt, if you're watching, listen to this, because I've been telling him to get into voice acting, and he's kind of got his foot in the door a little bit, but it was actually you doing the books. I was like, he has that kind of epic trilogy voice too, and I was like, you know, there's not too many of you men that's got that epic voice. So I was like, you guys got to do what you got to do with it. You were gifted with it. Use it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for all of these awesome things, like, I mean, you kind of talked about this, but if somebody wanted to get into, okay, so that's voice acting. If you want to get into the voice acting, go to that site he just looked into. If you want to get into stage performance or, you know, working at your local haunt or something like that, what are some tips for that?
Stage performance is very easy. Find out where they're doing auditions and you go and you audition. Find out what they're looking for. Like River City Theater Company, typically we do a lot of musicals, so they'll ask you to do a song that you've memorized. You bring in sheet music and we have a pianist who will play it for you. And then you just sing it. And after that, they give you some lines and then you read the lines. If you look the part, and if you know, that's the most important thing, is you kind of have to look kind of what they're going for. So
don't try to go play a 3-year-old, you know, girl if you're a 58-year-old man with a beard.
Although with stage acting, you can kind of get away with a lot that way. Not so much for film, because especially if you're doing film acting, their auditions are a lot more grueling than stage acting, because and it's a little bit discouraging at first, because you'll walk into an audition and you've got your lines beforehand, you've got everything memorized, and you walk in and they go, okay, yeah, we don't need you. And you're like, what?
Because they already found somebody or whatever?
No, it's not that. It has nothing to do with your skill, your talent, your ability. Maybe you're 2 inches too tall. Maybe your hair is not the right color. That kind of thing. It really doesn't have that much to do with you. Don't take it personally. Okay. If you don't hit a home run during the audition, just do the best you can. Don't take it personally if they don't hire you. Keep going. Because
it's not about you. It's about maybe they're looking for somebody who really looks like the part of this person that they were on to play.
A lot of film casting directors, they have a particular type in mind, and if you don't fit that type, whether you're the best actor in the world, if you don't fit that type, you know, they're not gonna they're not going to do jump through a bunch of hoops and try to figure out, well, maybe we can make him this and maybe we can. No, they're just going to go, oh, no, he's too blonde. We can't use him.
Okay, so don't worry about that.
Don't be
just keep
discouraged.
plugging away and trying new things. That's the main thing on that.
Stage acting is a different thing entirely. Just go in and do your best. If you get your foot in the door, a lot of places hire, well, they don't hire, but they bring on people for ensemble.
Okay.
Show up, learn the process. You know, learn what to do in rehearsals. Learn good stage etiquette. You know, we don't talk during rehearsals. Don't text your friends and stuff like that. Pay attention. Bring a pencil so you can mark up your script. That kind of stuff.
So take it seriously.
Yeah.
They're looking for you to take it serious.
Make it a job. Don't make it just some goofy thing that you're doing, you know, between playing Call of Duty.
So if you want something more goofy that you're playing in between Call of Duty, maybe that's where looking at your local haunt would come in handy.
There you go. That's a seasonal job, and there's all kinds of other seasonal jobs, and you know,
and it is work. I'm not gonna say it's not. People who go to haunts and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna work," and they don't think it's work. It's work. You're gonna throw out your voice if you don't know what you're doing. You might throw out your back if you're moving in a way you didn't stretch properly. So make sure that you know you're taking it serious. Whatever the role you're playing is. If you're gonna be a gargoyle and you're crawling on the ground, be somebody physically fit. Don't apply for that position if you're not somebody who can keep that up for 16 to 18 days in a row, because that's what it's gonna require of you.
Or if you are going to be a gargoyle and you know you can't do it, change the character. Make it. Well, maybe this gargoyle is a little bit busted and he doesn't get around as much as the other gargoyle.
There you go.
Do something else. Work your way around it. There's a lot of freedom with haunt acting, of course, that you know, but it's still performing. It's still, you know, you still got to give that same show. The last person who walks in there deserves the same show as the first person who walked in there, no matter how tired you are.
That's true.
They paid the same money.
That's true. And actually, it's not that hard. If your heart is into it, it's not hard to get a second and a third win throughout the night.
The key to the really good people that we have at Hobbs Grove is that we hire people who would pay us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we said, okay, yeah, you give us $20 and we'll let you act here, they'd be like, yeah. They start digging in their wallet. Those are the guys that we know are dedicated.
Yeah, because you're not in it for the money. When you're doing that, you're literally in it for the love of the game.
If you're in it for the money,
you got to be in it for the love of the game.
Because you don't make very much money.
So you said that you looked on YouTube for some puppets. Did you just type in YouTube puppets, or like how did you get along?
Puppet making tutorial.
That's it. Yep. All right. So if you're looking to get into puppet making, simple as that.
There's one, Adam Kreutzinger is one that I came across, and he's got a really simple technique. He uses materials you can buy at the fabric store, and he just does amazingly just beautiful little charismatic puppets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So look him up if you're wondering about puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And then magic. What's an easy way to get into magic if you want to do like stage magic?
Well, I would recommend not buying one of the little okay. I'll address that one, Brooke, in just a moment. I would recommend not buying the little 101 magic tricks kind of thing, unless I guess if you've never ever done a magic trick before, because what they can do is the materials are really cheap and kind of crappy, and they're kind of small because they're for little kids. But I guess you can learn the principles. If you're really interested, there's a lot of resources you can go. Again, YouTube, put in magic trick tutorial, and then you'll find a whole bunch of stuff.
What about a place, where do you buy your magic supplies?
We just happen to live, I used to live in Fresno, which is the home of like the second biggest magic dealer in the world, hocuspocus.com.
Okay.
And they have a lot of really good stuff. Again, not a paid endorsement. I just love the place.
Not sponsored.
Yep.
But you can if you
want
to.
No, but, and so it's like, they just happen to be right here in town, so I saved a ton of money on shipping.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm just going to order all this and go pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. And you order something, just, if you see a magic trick you like, find out what it's called, and then you go buy that magic trick. Chances are they're not very expensive. The really good ones can be a little bit pricey, but because you discover a lot of the stuff is handmade, you're not going to get 40,000 people who want to do this magic trick.
Okay.
You're going to get like maybe 200 people worldwide. So these guys will will create these little magic tricks, and then they make them by hand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so they're a little bit pricey, but a lot of times you can get like used ones and stuff like that, and look up tutorials, look up how to buy books. Go down to Barnes and Noble or Amazon, buy books about magic tricks and stuff like that.
I've got a different little question. If they already are kind of practicing their little magic tricks and they want to perform for somebody, what would be a way to maybe get out there and find a way to perform?
Well, I started doing it with through Hobbs Grove. I just went up to the owner and I said, "Hey, I got a really good idea. I want to do a magic show." And she's like, "Really? Okay, yeah, why not?" And I did some tricks for her, and she's like, "Wow, this is pretty cool."
So maybe just find a venue and just
find a venue, talk to people, connect with people. That is the biggest thing. Word of mouth. Somebody that you know who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. That's how you're going to get your jobs.
And that's in anything that has to do with acting, voice acting, stage performance, anything like that. And if you ever look at like a piece of art on the wall and they want like $5,000 for it, and it looks like somebody took a paintbrush and went like that and that was it, and you're wondering how are they selling it for that much?
How did they get so popular?
It's who they know. It's not the art. It's the fact that the art came from them and they know people. So I mean, connections really are important in everything.
They knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody that liked this kind of art,
right?
And would want to pay. Hey, I really like this. I'll pay you $100 for this. And then that suddenly this person has that hanging in their house, and they're going to go, well, yes, I bought it from this artist over here, and suddenly you have your value has gone up. Same thing with a performer. If you want to, and a certain person here used to do kids parties and stuff like that, and her value went up.
Yeah.
Because she did a good job.
Yeah, it's
true.
The
first one she did, we probably did for a friend or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like I think they tipped us like $40, and then they told somebody, and I told them 60. And they gave me 100, and then it had been like $100 a party ever since then at minimum, because they were like, "No, trust me, you're worth this." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
yeah, absolutely,
thanks."
If you're good at what you do, the word will get out there. I saw Mark Bernardin is a guy that he talks about Batman and comic book movies and stuff like that. Yeah. He wears a T-shirt that says, "Keep doing dope ass shit till somebody notices."
Nice.
That's how you do it. You just do dope ass shit till somebody notices.
Nice. Well, man, somebody will notice one day. I'm plugging away. They're noticing for you.
Yeah. Brooke had a question. She said, what about people who are stay-at-home moms and stuff like that? ACX.com is a great place for that.
Okay.
All you need to do is, you used to have a very expensive recording studios and stuff like that. Now you can buy a $75 microphone and use your tablet, use your phone, and you can make a recording studio. I recorded in my closet for a long time because the coats deadened the sound. And now I have I bought some foam, and I have a little mini recording studio. It's literally a desk in the corner of my room. And that's what I record on. And I record, and it's good enough that these audio engineers over at audible.com go, "Oh yeah, this guy's good. He knows what he's doing. We'll let him up there." ACX.com. That's AlphaCharlieXray.com.
Yeah. So, and that's a way that you can actually make money too, because he gets paid every time somebody buys one of those books. He gets a little bit of chunk of that.
I get a check every month.
There you go.
You can either go on there and get paid. Now, you have to have chops. You have to be able to read well, and you have to be able to sort of act a little bit. But if you've got the ability, and you can, again, you're auditioning, and if you pass the auditions, then you can either be paid by the hour. A lot of places will say, "Okay, I'll pay you $50 for every finished hour of audio," and that's like it. Usually, it takes me about 3 hours to record an hour of finished audio because you have to edit and all that stuff. And again, you can use free software. I think Audacity is free, and it does everything you need to do, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on all this stuff. And you use that. And you can either get paid by the hour, or you can do what's called a royalty share, which is what I do a lot.
Because you don't know what it's going to end up being at the end of the day. It could turn into a blockbuster, and now everybody's downloading it. It's the next Twilight or whatever.
I've done books that sold, I think, 3,000 or 4,000 copies.
Oh, wow.
And then I've done books that sold 6 copies.
Oh, wow.
And I made nothing off of the one that made 6. And I still get checks. I've done for like 3 or 4 years ago. I did the one, and I still get checks for it every month.
So that's going to be a hit and miss too. And also read something that you might like to read. Don't read something that you're
Yeah, yeah.
If gay werewolves
porn
isn't your shit, then maybe don't do that. You know,
No.
if you're liking something, I want to read fantasy or whatever.
Yep, they got tons of stuff. They've got fiction, nonfiction. If you've got a voice and the biggest thing is you have to make your performance convincing. How many times have you heard a radio commercial and you can tell they just got somebody's secretary to read it? Say, here, you've got a good voice. Blah, blah, blah. Read this. Yeah. And you can tell that they're reading it, they're pronouncing it very nicely, but then you can tell that they're just reading off of a page.
That sucks. Yeah, it's almost like they're a robot. They have no emotion.
What happens to your listener is they tune out. You know, but if you have somebody who is sincere and who can read this stuff like it's a conversational tone, then you're going to hook people.
That makes sense.
And that's why guys get paid the big bucks.
Do you switch your voice up for different characters a little bit?
Oh yeah. I do female characters. I don't try to do girly voices like that, but you know, you pitch your voice up a little for a female character, and of course they have different accents and stuff like that, and you know, it's not really a lot different from my regular voice, but it's different enough from the rest of the voices.
So that you can hear when you're listening. Oh, this is this person talking, this person talking.
Yeah, and there was in one of the stories I did a Catholic priest who was a very nice guy, and he spoke way down here because his voice was described as booming and deep, and so you have to do a deep voice for that one. But the main character of the story was a teenager, and so his voice is way up here, and you have to kind of remember that, you know, everybody's a little bit different, you know, and if you can make your voice, you don't have to do crazy amounts of acting and stuff like that. You just have to make it convincing.
Was the Catholic priest in the werewolf game porn?
No, they were different.
Okay.
Although I would totally read that book.
I was like, well, the booming voice of the Catholic priest. Excuse me, my bad. Well, it is what it is. So, that was the best part. You already said that. So, what is you said the hardest part is getting over yourself. What is the very best part of doing this?
The best part is what in magic is called the prestige. And it's not something that you should be going for at the very beginning, but it's like the icing on the cake. What that is when you go out and you do a good performance, and you can kind of feel when you do a good performance. Yeah. The hairs stand up on your arm and stuff like that. You know that you've done a good job. And you get this moment of silence, and as everybody's absorbing it, and then the reaction, that's the moment that you're going for. If you're a haunt actor, that's the scream, or that's the nervous laugh. You know, if you're a stage performer, that's the applause and the standing ovation, you know.
And if you're a voice actor, that's the check in the mail at the end of the month.
And the additional offers for more gay werewolf.
There you go, right? Okay, so I have one last question for you. Do you have any ghost stories?
I do, and again, we're going to go back to Hobbs Grove.
Okay.
We had... a lot of people look at the haunted house that we have out at Hobbs Grove and they say, oh, it's this old house and it's been out there forever. No, it's a steel building that was built in 1999. So it is less than 20 years old.
Okay.
And so anyway, there's not a lot of haunt activity going on in that house. It hasn't been around very long. Nobody's actually died in the place, you know. However, we brought in this steel autopsy table, and when we brought that thing in, weird shit started happening. So a bunch of people report, you know, they're really uneasy around this thing and stuff like that. So one night, the whole haunt was over, and I was going in and I walked through the whole thing and made sure everything was in place, because I was managing the haunted house at that point. And I'm walking through and I'm turning out the lights. So you turn out the lights with the breakers. You go to the breaker box and you turn them all off. And I'm walking back through. It's pitch dark, but I have my flashlight. And I'm walking by that room that has that table in it, and very distinctly from that room I hear this creepy whispered laugh.
Not okay.
Yeah, it was not cool.
Right now, yeah.
But then at the time, I thought I was going to be really more freaked out by it. But at the time, I was like, wow, that's really weird. But I got to go. Kish was waiting for me. So I just kept on going.
That's really weird.
One of the side effects to working in a haunted house, things don't scare you as much.
Wow, that's really weird, but I got shit to do.
Yeah, I got shit to do. Gotta go. Kish was waiting in the car.
Well, that was absolutely epic. I can't thank you enough for coming here. Oh, real
Absolutely.
quick, contact info. If you want to get a hold of Tan Clark, you can find him on Facebook at Tanamin Clark. I'll go ahead and spell that for you. It's TANAMIN Clark, CLARK.
There you go.
Or Tanamin2000 at gmail.com. So TANAMIN2000 at gmail.com. And that's for just information on anything he's talked about today. If you want to hire him, if maybe you're looking for some puppets, if you've got some voice acting you'd like to do, if you're a cartoonist and you need somebody to do some voice acting for that, if you want to do some private lessons on learning any of these things that he is good at, or just any info at all, that is how you get a hold of this guy. And I will leave the description in the comment below also. Thank you so much for coming out and spending this time with me. Thank you again for my cool little Kinder Joy. Woo! That was super cool. I absolutely love it. This has been epic. And yeah, so thank you all so much. Please be sure to like and share. Can't ever turn it off.
Why can't you turn it off?
I can't ever turn it off.